Hi, I'm John. In this video I'm going to show you how I built my own plugins to produce my band Origami Tsunami's recent releases. Firstly, I used RNBO to design the effects. Compared to other forms of coding, this interface is really easy to use and great for experimentation. The Schroeder reverb is the pioneering reverb style for digital reverberation as it's quite simple. I based my design off of this diagram by Professor John Chowning on the CCRMA website. It starts with 3 all-pass filters in series, which then feed into 4 parallel feedback comb filters, and finally a mixing matrix before the stereo output. In this case, I built the all-pass filters myself using this diagram as reference, and I used the exact numbers as shown in the original diagram. I did the same with the FBCFs, again using the numbers from the original diagram. That reverb had a fluttery sound, a lot like a spring reverb. So next, I decided I needed a more sophisticated reverb and found this design for more of a plate style by John Dottoro, again on the CCRMA website. This design also uses all-pass filters and feedback cone filters, but a lot more of them, as well as low-pass filters. The signal then feeds back into itself, decaying more and more until it's finally gone. In the paper, Dottoro encourages experimentation with the numbers, so in this case I spent a long time fine-tuning the details until it sounded right. This other effect I built was a bit more experimental, a distortion plugin using Chebyshev's polynomials to highlight certain frequencies. When you play simple sine waves through these polynomials, it acts like a pitch shift. However, when you play more complex sounds, like guitars through them, it creates a very unique distortion. I was able to input these equations like so, using the codebox object in RNBO. So as you can see here, this equates to 2x to the power of 2 minus 1, and this last one is 128x to the power of 8 minus 256x to the power of 6 plus 160x to the power of 4 minus 32x to the power of 2 plus 1. Now I'm going to show you how I was then able to take these effects and build plugins from them that can be used in any DAW. Okay, first, RNBO has this feature where it can generate your patch of C++ code, so I saved mine for later. To create a user interface, I used Projucer. Here I set up a bunch of sliders and gave them names identical to the parameters I had set up in the RNBO file, also setting minimum and maximum values and their units. I then took a screenshot of this to use as a background in Blender, so that I could draw in the graphics for the plugin, giving them all this minimalist sketchbook style. I could then go back to Projucer and set that image as the background for the interface. Projucer also then exported this as C++ code. The final step was then to fuse these elements and ultimately build the plugin. To do that, I followed these steps on the Cycling74 GitHub. I basically had to go through the C++ files that had been exported and change lines of code so that they could work together. I'm just showing the first few steps sped up here. It was quite a long process, but eventually it was ready. And then in CMake, I could compile the elements and generate this package, which I was then able to open and do the final build. Here you can see the final .component and .vst3 files, which you can then add into your I'm now going to demonstrate how I use the plugins I built in the mixing for my band's music. I'll start off with this guitar part from Face Like a Frying Pan, starting by playing you the clean DI recording, then I'll add some of my harmonic distortion. Now I'm going to add some plate style reverb, which was the one based on the Dottoro design. Next, I'm going to show you one of my favourite weird layers in the song, which is this piano that I completely annihilated with harmonic distortion. Again, I'll just show you a quick A and B. On to another track now. This one's called You're So Weird I Love It, and it's unreleased at the moment, so you're getting a little sneak preview. The guitar tone was inspired by spaghetti western soundtracks and country music. We chose to use Fender Telecasters with single coil pickups for both guitars as they have that twangy tone that we were attempting to emulate. I sent both through the same bus with the spring reverb rather than adding it separately to each. This ensured that the reflections are synced and the guitars feel like they're in the same space. I I also had a plate reverb bus for most of the drums, leaving out just the kick to keep it punchy. So that was a quick demo of some of the ways in which I used my homemade plugins to produce our recent releases. If you're keen to hear how it all sounded in the final mixes, look up Origami Tsunami on Spotify and have a listen. Maybe give us a follow to make sure you see when You're So Weird I Love It comes out. Thank you for watching.